What would keep the Heat from a three-peat?
Well, first of all, first and foremost, an injury of significance to Dwayne Wade. Okay. If Dwayne Wade has to go through what he went through last year, they're not winning the NBA championship. By all accounts, he's been healthy. He's healthy. He's healthier than he's been in years. He worked with Tim Grover during the offseason. He's going to be back working with the Heat trainers throughout the season. They've done a lot to fix some of the ailments that he had. It wasn't just his knees. It was his hip. It was his back. It was a lot of different things. So he's much, much better right now. If Greg Oden can give you anything beyond April, I think that's a huge plus because you'll need another big body come the postseason. And obviously the acquisition of Michael Beasley in the offseason after some troubles in Phoenix, I think it's going to help the Miami Heat immensely because you still have Ray Allen and Shane Battier for LeBron James and Mario Chalmers and those boys to dish the ball to. But in that, to answer the question directly, to me, it's a three-headed monster. Brooklyn, Indiana, and Chicago. Pick your poison. The Knicks are on the outside looking in at one of those top 4 seeds, but if they're hitting their three-point shots and Andrea Bugnani matters, then it could be the New York Knicks could sit there and make some noise. But let's be clear. Brooklyn is here to win a championship with KG and Paul Pierce to add to those big three. You'd have a starting 5 with Brook Lopez, Joe Johnson, and Darren Williams, all capable of hitting shots 15 feet and beyond. The way the NBA game is called in this day and age, that makes them incredibly formidable. Derrick Rose has looked fantastic during the preseason. He's a point guard that the Bulls did not have last year, even though I still think they should have kept Nate Robinson, that Energizer bunny that he is. But Derrick Rose is a superstar, and he changes the complexion of the Bulls. You got a guy like Jimmy Butler who played all 48 minutes against the Miami in the playoffs last year. He's 6'7", can defend. You got Taj Gibson. He's 6'9", can defend. You got Joakim Noah. He's 6'11", he can defend. You have Tom Thibodeau, who's the best defensive coach in the game and has proven it time and time again. They'll have a better regular season record than anybody outside of Miami as far as I'm concerned. Then there's Indiana because you've got Roy Hibbert at 7'2". You've got David West. You've got Chris Copeland acquired from the New York Knicks who shot 42% from three-point range. You got Louis Scola. They acquired in the offseason that'll give you a post presence. You acquired C.J. Watson in the offseason as your backup point guard. Even though he and George Hill are not really point guards, they can just score from the point guard position. They may need a point guard, which may give Chicago the edge. I'm not saying this is going to be good enough to beat Miami because if Dwayne Wade is healthy, there's nobody that's beating Miami. But if he's not as healthy, if he's the same guy that he was last year, then any of those 3 teams can beat the Miami Heat in the postseason because they're that formidable and they are coming.
Lord have mercy. You just wrote a book on the Eastern Conference this year. That's unbelievable. You are for this.
That's why you call me Stephen Naismith, baby.
I know.
You know, I'm here.
You just reinvented the entire Eastern Conference. I'm impressed. Now I have one question. Can any of those teams really beat the Heat if they're healthy? Come on, seriously.
No.
Thank you. Okay, so back to Kerry's original question. What can derail the Heat? And to your answer, only 2 things. The 2 knees of one Dwayne Wade. I still, Stephen A., don't completely trust Dwayne's knees. I trust his body to be in the best shape it's ever been in, thanks, as you point out, to the great Tim Grover. And, of course, Dwayne Wade this offseason quit working out just with LeBron, who does a whole different style of workout, and went back to Tim Grover, who I think got Dwayne in superb shape. But there's only so much Tim can do for those 2 knees. They could have some arthritic condition setting in. They might ultimately need a little surgical procedure. He did have the Kobe procedure in the offseason, Dwayne did. Didn't go to Germany for it, but had it. So I think that will help some. But I'm thinking, Stephen A., we're going to see Dwayne Wade turn back into Dwayne Wade, into D. Wade, as in destructive Dwayne, as in maybe not Batman again, but at least I'll go co-Batman with LeBron, which makes the Heat even more invincible this time around. And to all your points, I know you love Indiana and you think they're a legit threat. Stephen A., I feel like Indiana could play Miami. It could go 12 games, and the Heat would win in 12. It's just one of those things where the Heat have LeBron and Dwayne Wade, and the Pacers don't. So I love the Scola addition. He's a shrewd operator down low, and you talk about the muscles and David West and Hibbert emerged as a real force last year, and Paul George is a quasi-star, but I'm not sure he's a superstar yet. I'll give him star, but not superstar. So I can't make a case that Indiana has that one guy who could put Indiana over the top into the NBA Finals.